This is what I looked like the first time I tried drugs. I would have been about 15 in this photo. My baby face was off the charts, and I looked about 12 until I turned 21 and somewhat grew into myself. This is the face of a boy who really doesn't want to do his homework, whose room is a mess, and who wants to spend every waking moment playing video games with his mates. Feel free to have a giggle at it. I know I do every time I look at it. I'm not speaking on behalf of all teenage boys, but I know if you told me not to do something, you would have been met with an acknowledgement that sounded something like a grunt. I was a master at that response. I never planned on trying drugs. I didn't have any set in stone idea that I was going to show up at my mate's place and get hooked on illicit substances, but it's funny how the world works in ways you don't necessarily plan it. I'm obviously doing much better now, because otherwise I don't think I'd be able to stand up here in front of you today and talk about the importance of recovery, but good God, it was hard. I don't think I've ever been through anything so difficult. It was torture, mentally, physically, emotionally, the whole shebang. My story isn't unique. There's kids like me all across the country, baby-faced children hooked on hard drugs. Lives ruined because we all took one step off the straight and narrow as stubborn, pig-headed teenagers. Teenagers make bad decisions. That's kind of what they're renowned for doing. But that doesn't mean that we deserve to have our lives written off because we took one step in the wrong direction. I don't deserve to have my future ruined because I put something in my body that my friends told me would feel good. The treatment these kids are getting, and I receive myself, is not appropriate for children. We're taken to facilities filled with patients who have been hooked on substances longer than I've been alive. And once we're out, there's no unique support. We're not told we can be something. We're not told we have a future, because that's something adults figure out, and we are told that we are adults, despite the fact that we are undisputably children. That is a child. Even the strongest of critics can argue that we made our own choices, but we are scared, we are vulnerable, and we want our parents and we want to be healthy. I would have much rather walk 100 kilometres barefoot over glass than stay there any longer than I had to, and I still have so much to unpack from that time in my life that I'm tempted to just throw away the whole suitcase. That's why the withdrawal program at David Martin Place is so important, because the program is designed for 16 to 24-year-olds, the same age as I was in that photo and the same age as I am now. It provides a safe and supportive place for young people, for children, to detox and break the cycle of addiction. Never before have I seen a program have so much faith in young people who need help. I look at the help these kids are getting, and there is not a single part of me that does not wish I got that help. These kids are being given an opportunity to start again and prove to others, and most importantly themselves, that they are worthy of a second chance. On the other hand, I have to now pay for therapy to try and get over the damage done by another type of therapy. It's not a great time. They are being brought step by step through those first hellish weeks with support and backing from people who are going through the exact same thing as what they are going through, and trained professionals who deal exclusively with people who are at the beginning of their lives who have taken a wrong step. For kids like me, the withdrawal program makes those first few weeks bearable. With your help, children don't need to be surrounded by adults. We are scared, we are alone, and we need an environment that recognises that, acknowledges those emotions, and tells us that it's okay to feel that way when you look and feel like you have been thrown into the pits of hell. Just like me, substance abuse was just scratching the surface of much more deeply ingrained issues, and a $500 donation can help that. A $500 donation provides psychological care on arrival at the farm. It starts the treatment of the illness rather than the symptom. $4,000 funds 4 weeks of 24/7 nursing for a young person going through the withdrawal program. If you've never experienced it, The best way I could possibly describe withdrawal feels like a flu that's never ever going to end, combined with the rage of 1,000 suns. My most poignant memory from my time in withdrawal was about 2 weeks after I'd arrived. I was about 16 and it was 2 a.m. and I was on my bathroom floor and I was so sick. I was sweating, I was throwing up, I was violently unwell. And I called a nurse into my room and I told her, "Can you please call my mum? Can you call my mum? I want to go home. I want to go to school and I want to be normal. I just want my mum." And the gauntlet of withdrawal is the hardest part of getting clean. Once I got those first 3 or 4 weeks out the way, it felt like it got better. But I just wanted my mum. And $4,000 helps provide for someone who can feel like mum. $16,000 funds 4 weeks of the withdrawal program. Take everything I've just told you about myself, all of the pain and suffering that I went through, and the turmoil this put my family through. My kinder-age sister crying in our living room when she realised her big brother was just a shell of the person that he used to be. My parents sobbing on the couch when they realised that their boy was just as broken after that treatment as before he went in it. $16,000 can change that story. It doesn't have to be like that, and that's all I can ask of you. I've stood up here and showed you the most vulnerable parts of my life. All I ask in return is that you do it for us. Please do it for that boy that you looked in the eyes before, because it can be different.